Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this updated crazy guide on Jade, I'll be giving you her best relics, Lightcones, team comp, rotations, pros and cons, and whether she's worth pulling. Sit back and relax. Note that this is subjected to change. For any updates, I'll leave notes in the comments below. Do you have a character or Lightcone in the game that you really want, but you don't have enough StellarJades? Fortunately, lootbar.gg allows you to buy StellarJades at a discounted rate for all regions. Lootbar is one of the fastest and most reliable recharging platform with attractive discount rates. For an example, I will buy the 1980 StellarJade package for $26.40, which otherwise would have cost me $29.99, saving me a total of 20%, and also new users get an additional 5% off. To purchase, simply enter your UID and region and to receive your package in less than 30 minutes. All recharges are done through the official channel with miHoYo, which allows you to enjoy all top-up offers. Now you will be ready to get your favorite characters. Check the link in the description and pinned comment to get the amazing discounts. I won't delve into her abilities and Eidolons, as I've already made a video on that. For an overview, Jade has the quantum element and comes from the path of erudition. She's a hybrid buffer and DPS unit, similar to Topaz. Best price to performance ratio. As usual, F2P players should never pull for Eidolons, especially for Jade. She's mid, E1 or signature Lightcone is not needed. It depends on your account if you want to pull extra for her. If you have worse luck on Lightcones, go for her E1 instead, or if you want to guarantee your next 50-50. But personally, I would never. How to build Jade. For the body, you want crit rate or crit damage. For the boots, go for speed. When it comes to substat priority, including buffs, speed till 134. Crit rate 60 to 70% plus, crit damage, 160% and above, and attack percent lastly. Speed section. Going for no speed substat with attack percent boots is actually fine since we do get double turns on the 0th cycle. But only if you have a secondary DPS unit that can deal AoE and multiple attacks constantly. But one issue is that you will have fewer skill points. Especially if your other DPS unit is going at 160 speed with Jade's buff and you're running Bronya too. Personally, I recommend 134 speed since it's easy. Relic Set's Jade can use all of the relics I have listed. I do not know how much Jade's follow-up attack hit has, but at 8 stack, it will perform the best. Honestly, the new relic DPS is tied at the lowest with a 2-piece mix set or quantum with 10% defense ignore, as the damage boost only buffs her ultimate. But you will have an easier time getting Jade to 70% crit rate with that 6% crit bonus, which is way more ideal compared to Grand Duke or Quantum set. Overall, I do not recommend farming for Quantum, as it's the worst move for your account. Players should farm for Grand Duke if they are using an FUA team with Jade, or the new Relic Set instead. Planar ornament for the rope, you only want attack percent. For the orb, go for quantum damage boost. Running energy regen rope also works, but only if you have near perfect rolls into crit rate and crit damage, but that will be unlikely. Planar sets, she can use pretty much any relic set as the DPS difference isn't that huge. But you want to farm for Salsado, Azumo, and Duran preferably. Azumo is not recommended unless you're running Jade with QQ. Personally, I would just farm for Salsado since the DPS difference is no more than 5%, or wait for the new Planar set. Sigonia is only better for pure fiction, as for most MOC runs you will only get 5 stacks of crit damage. Lightcones. Her worst options are Breakfast S5 with the lowest DPS multipliers. Cosmos S5 requires you to be facing at least 2 enemies with Quantum Weak, which is just too much of a restriction for a 1% DPS boost compared to Breakfast. Her second best are Milky Way, Eternal and Repose S5. Milky Way has the highest DPS output with Weakness Break. It comes very close to Jade's signature Lightcone. Eternal can pop off slightly if you can get an extra turn with the speed buff. Repose S5 is just a more consistent Lightcone, as you're just going to rely on attacks getting crits. Where compared to both Milky Way and Eternal, their DPS will fall off if you're facing single target enemies. Jade's signature LC is in first place. It gives 16% crit rate, 48% damage boost from follow-up attacks, and 20% defense ignore. It has 100% uptime on everything, which is the most consistent Lightcone. And that 16% crit rate is actually super useful, as you can easily run a crit damage body. Here are the DPS calculations. Overall, her signature Lightcone performs really well. But Jade has little to no value as a unit. It's best to just slap on the best option that you have available for her and it will do fine. Team comp and rotations. Her best team will be with an FUA team, where you want to use either Jade's skill on Topaz or Aventurine. You want to use her skill on Topaz if you're facing single target enemies, but if you're facing 2 or more enemies, using Jade's skill on Aventurine is better. For Blade, you can have him go at 161 speed with Jade's buff and Bronya at 160 speed for him to go 3 turns in 1 cycle, where Jade will proc her follow-up attack way faster for insane pop-offs. Or run Blade with HP % boots with Bronya at hyperspeed. But it will be slightly weaker. Jingliu also works well, but I don't feel that it's necessary. QQ is way too skill point heavy where it's better to have Sparkle at 160 speed and Jingliu with attack % boots instead. And of course, for a pure fiction team, you can just use a buffer with either Herta or Himeko or just run all 3 units without a buffer at all. Jade's pros and cons. Pros: low S tier, E0 sufficient, 2-in-1 buffer plus DPS unit, decent at MOC, excels at pure fiction. Cons: falls off with single target content, a unit you do not need. Pulling a unit just for pure fiction is a pretty dumb move as you can always just build Herta. Should you pull for Jade? If you're a new player? No, you seriously don't need her at all. If you like her design and you're able to clear MOC 12 already? Yes. Is Jade worth it? I would rate her a 3 out of 10. She's just not that good compared to other units. An E0 Acheron can do 1 cycle clears for the first half of MOC and an E0 Firefly can do 0 cycle clears, and you don't even need her for an FUA team. Hence, I don't see a point for players to pull for Jade, where she's actually just Argenti with some minor upgrades. Let me know your thoughts down below about Jade and if you're pulling her. Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, it really helps out a ton. And that's it for this guide.